All right, to watch this video for Tuesday, March 13th, a quick screenshot of a tweet I put out today showing you NETE. Now, I had this on watch, and it was actually my favorite chart as the morning was unfolding, and it was pointed out in chat right about there, the volume. A lot of people were watching it, and I didn't pull the trigger. It was still under the high, this was the earlier high of day right here. I didn't pull the trigger, but I also jumped on the mic and said, you know what? By the time I tried to get in, but it ran without me, and I wasn't going to chase it, so I wanted it somewhere in the 1070 area. Was like my worst case that I was going to chase it, so to speak, but I wanted it before it broke the high day. Anyway, long story short, it took off without me. Jumped on the mic and said, you know what, guys, this was my favorite chart. Having said that, it doesn't mean that we won't get another chance, right? And so then it kind of flagged for a little bit, flagging real tight under the whole number 12. If you've seen our free inflection points, trading inflection points webinar video, we have 2 of them. And let me slide this over. Down in the description to this video, you will see a link to all of our free webinars, including those trading inflection point webinars and a couple special offers for our chat room and our course too. But check out the free content because we've gotten just fantastic feedback on our trading inflection points webinars 1 and 2. So anyway, and this is a great example of it. So we missed a really nice move, but it's a recent high flyer. It's a strong stock, and there was a seller at the whole number 12. And you notice we still had the earlier high above. So when we break 12, there's another catalyst, or I should say potential catalyst above, which would be lighting up the new high of day ticker again, right? So my call was 12 with a stop at 1180. That's pretty tight risk reward after a stock that's just moved that far, but it gave that great setup. And the long idea right there at 12. And it ended up, and I'll get this out of the way now, and I'll actually bring that chart up real quick. It ended up, and there was that 12 idea. It ended up actually hitting almost 1450 on 20 cents risk and never coming back and touching the entry. So pretty proud of that call. I don't even have this. Let's go back to the deal. I don't even have it on my watch list for tomorrow. I probably should, but it just feels so extended at this point. I'd like to see it come in for a couple days, but we don't always get what we want. Let's start with the SPY. The SPY, pretty narrow range today compared to a lot of the recent days. It kind of looks a little toppy here, but it's come a long way to take out these late February highs. So I'm not surprised that it had to come in a little bit. And I don't even try to predict what's going to happen the next day. I just know that overall we're in a very strong market, and so we look for individual stocks like that NETE I just showed you to find day trades in. I'm a day trader, so I don't get hung up in now does the market have to come back down to the 20 days? So is most stuff a possible short tomorrow? That's not the way I think. All right, I know I look at the overall picture. We're very strong. Yes, it might be a short-term top. It also might rip higher tomorrow. I don't know, and I don't care as long as the market's not tanking. We look to these individual names for possible intraday setups. Remember, I'm in cash every night, so that helps. TROV had this pop back here, another pop back here. I don't generally trade the under $1 stuff. The high of this, basically 43, 44 cents in here, and it's kind of flagging, and it's holding the 20-day. So it goes on watch, but this is probably my least favorite of all of them because I'm not a big fan of the sub-dollar stocks, but it's a decent chart setup. PCMI, another inside day. So you had the big breakout, an inside day, and another inside day. Only 215,000 shares traded today, so it's pretty thin, and it's a nickel spreader, so not in love with that one either, but it will go on a chart for tomorrow. And XTD, you had this high back here. When I say high, I mean like a recent high, then a lower high, and a pretty nice pop today. So you have a potential catalyst over this 288 high, and then maybe we push through, maybe 3 becomes an inflection point, and maybe we test this. Anyway, it's a decent looking chart. If you go to intraday, you see that it was pretty much most of the move was late in the day. Massive volume came in, so absolutely worth watching. There it is on 15s, 60s, and the daily. So I like this one. Tomorrow I'll have to see how it opens, but it's definitely interesting to me. VVUS, nice breakout today. Another sub-dollar stock, but a pretty clean breakout over that 50-cent area, and strong volume for this stock. So we'll see if we get a follow-through date in that one tomorrow. CPAH, kind of another breakout of a tight range on a little extra volume. I would note that this big move from under 3 to 5 at one point all happened on less than 1 million shares. So to show you how thin this stock is, but absolutely worth watching. Nothing compelling about this chart except that in after hours PTI went up to over $6. So it had news and it's set to open. Well, who knows? We'll see in the morning. But if it opens around $6, certainly a possible gap and go. So I want to watch that one. ALT. Another one, nothing interesting about the chart, but in after hours, it's trading at 205. Looks like it went as high as almost 230 in after hours. So good news, obviously, on that one, too. We're going to watch that one. All right, some more. DXR, huge move from 350 to almost $9. And then it reversed, and then another red day on very low volume. Definitely want to watch that one for a turn back up. CLSD had the gap up that got slapped right back down. Next thing you know, it's hitting new highs over the next couple days. And now we're looking at a 3-day pullback. Still feels like it needs to come in some more, but I'm going to start watching that one for a potential turn back up tomorrow. NVIV had the gap up on big volume, lower and lower again. So kind of got down to the 8-day. Not in love with this one. Somebody in chat said they read that they're probably going to do a secondary. Not a guess. I think they read that was their words in their release, their news release the other day. But don't quote me on that because I haven't verified it. But I do like the chart setup. You know, massive volume and in a couple days lower. This one might rip again one of these days. ZSAN. Huge move. And I had said I really wanted this to have another red day, and it did, and I wouldn't mind another one, but we'll see. See if this gives us a setup to turn back up tomorrow. It's been a massive mover and certainly worth watching. And then Pixie, which is kind of a weird chart, had a nice pop, then kind of that reversal candle, then ripped higher. And then now, now everybody from Friday is underwater. It's kind of back down to support. So there's nothing pretty or very predictable, actually, about this chart. But when you ignore all the gyrations, you could say, hey, this thing was 260-ish the other day, right? Then it rips to over 6, and now it's pulled back into the mid to high 3s and pretty close to the 8-day. So if you simplify it that way, I definitely think it's worth watching tomorrow. But it's kind of a weird chart. Anyway, we are going to add some potential gap plays in the morning to this list, and we should find plenty to trade with all this going on. So have a great night, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.